Sentimientos son puros sentimientos, bebé. No pudimos controlarlo, envuelto en sentimientos. Son puros sentimientos, bebé. Fue puro placer y volver a tocarnos en el sitio donde te encontré. No pudimos controlarlo, envuelto en sentimientos. Son puros sentimientos.
So recently the temperature in the fish room spiked to over 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and this triggered mating season among the fish, which led to a lot of bad behavior. In my largest aquarium, my 880-gallon tank, my male peacock bass, he grew this giant red hump, which is used to impress females, and he decided to make war with the other males in the tank, which included my cichlid azul and my cichlid orinoco. Now all of these fish are over 20 inches long, so these giant fish caused a lot of damage, and within their war they pretty much destroyed my entire aquascape. Meanwhile, in my second largest aquarium, my 350-gallon tank, my Central American cichlids decided to start a battle royale. Every fish in the tank was fighting, and I needed to do something. That's when I decided to kill two birds with one stone. I will remove the broken driftwood from my 880-gallon tank and replace it with this giant piece from my 350-gallon aquarium. My 880 will get a new look, and my 350-gallon will be forced into a ceasefire because I will remove all the main territories. I started by draining water from my 350-gallon tank. I removed the rocks that kept the wood in place and attempted to take it out. Not only was the wood twice as heavy because it was waterlogged, but I also forgot how I originally added it into the aquarium. This wood was pretty big, it was 6 feet long, and was just awkward and bulky. Luckily, I did make a video of me adding it to the aquarium, so I went back and watched that video to retrace my steps, and eventually I managed to get it out of the tank. Then I removed the piece that was inside the 880-gallon tank. Now the best way to add such a large piece of wood to the aquarium would be to drain the tank about halfway, making it easier to work with. I did not decide to do that. I figured if I get inside the aquarium and put one of the rocks that were already in the aquarium on top of the wood, it would make it sink. But that was way harder than I imagined. The wood was super buoyant, and so was I. I ended up wrestling with the wood for about 20 minutes. I had a hard time getting the rocks in the wood because either the wood would float up or I would float up, and it was just no balance. At one point I even tried to use a broom to beat the wood in place. My dog came and he gave me the look of shame. but eventually I was able to get a rock onto the wood, and once I got the first rock on the wood, it did hold the wood in place, and I followed up with 3 more rocks. Once that was done, I set my attention to my 350 gallon tank. The wood in the tank was much thinner, so getting it to sink wasn't an issue. Instead, I just needed to find an aquascape that I was content with, while at the same time it was useful for the fish, which took me about half an hour. Here's a look at the tanks on the following day. In the 880 gallon aquarium, the position of the wood that I ended up with, it doesn't really promote the full character of the wood, so eventually once it is fully waterlogged, I will like to redesign it just to show its full length and just the full character and shape and design of this piece of wood. Now what I do like about it is that it does provide a lot of swimming space for the fish, and at the same time it provides some coverage for my smaller bottom dwellers. As for the 350 gallon tank, in my opinion this design definitely promotes the full length of the aquarium. I feel as if the fish are more spread out, and that's because there's multiple safe points in the aquarium, unlike with my previous aquascape. Now with all the confusion of the rescape, I may try to add some of my grow fish to this tank so that they can sneak into the hierarchy while it's being reconstructed. All in all, just a day in the life of a fish keeper.